It's Friday the 13th of October, and it's time for a very brief Oroville update. In between recording the aftermath of the local wildfires here, I was able to sneak up to Oroville briefly for a view of the dam. But TFRs, temporary flight restrictions, are in the area between here and Oroville. We got the Cascade Fire Complex. Pete, don't bang the camera much. There you go. Come on in and show me what you got. We got the Cascade Fire between here and Oroville, and the Cherokee Fire to the north of Oroville, which still have 2 TFRs, and that Cherokee TFR came right down to the spillway. So I was only able to fly on the south side of the spillway and shoot a couple of still shots. The overall, this fire situation in California has turned out to be the deadliest in our history. Right now, today, they're up to 35 fatalities as they continue to sift through the rubble of all these fires. Right there in Yuba County, the Cascade Fire, 4 fatalities. The Cascade-LaPorte Complex, those 2 fires merged, a total of 16,000 acres, 217 structures, including 111 residences. The Cherokee Fire to the north of Oroville, I just mentioned, is 8,400 acres and only 3 structures. Now, all these fires here in our local area are basically out. There's no real active fire activity. There was a little bit of smoke up on the Cascade Fire yesterday, but fire crews are still containing or mopping up the fire, so they'll be working here for quite a while. Over on the Sonoma, Napa County, that's still actively burning, and I'm not very clear on the situation over there other than it's very devastating. Regarding the overflight videos around here, those are done mostly for our local community and for the Union newspaper, and it's a first look for many of us to see the devastation of this fire, and the folks that are viewing these are the folks that are well, that's their homes that are burned up. So out of respect of those folks, I'm not going to be talking over the top of those videos. They're just for everybody to see the footage from the air and see if their homes were affected and how so. Back at Oroville, the few pictures I was able to get, boy, the office pool, as to whether they're going to make it or not in time to meet the arbitrary November 1st deadline, is just cutting it down to the wire. Last update, we reported 85 feet to go, right? Regarding the RCC fill of the main plunge pool, last Wednesday, they had to go from 595 feet to 680 feet, a total of 85-foot difference. This week, it appears, looking at the pictures, zooming in on it, it appears that they're up to 625 feet. So now they have 55 feet to go. In other words, they've gained about 30 feet in elevation this week. Will they make it in time? That's just absolutely cutting it to the wire. Regardless of whether the arbitrary deadline is met or not, it doesn't really matter because the lake level is down to 700 feet and there's no rain in sight anywhere in the forecast, unfortunately, which we now so desperately need to get out of this fire situation. So they'll be able to continue working on the spillway for well into the beginning of the winter season. So let's take a look at some of these still pictures I got, and we'll look at some of the latest DWR video footage and see how things are going over at Oroville. Here's the Bidwell boat ramp with a lake level of 702 feet, a little bit shy of the water. No boating here now, and the inlet to the Hyatt power plant as the water level gets close to the bottom of the inlet structure. I didn't have a chance to do a video this time around with all the firefighting activity in the area, so I just got these 300mm single shots going up the spillway. Here on the lower part of the spillway, they got a couple of walls yet to place and a couple of slabs yet to place, and they're still working on that junction between the RCC and the lower spillway. The RCC section is growing rapidly. Remember, it only takes 24 hours for this RCC to harden, and you can see the fresh RCC in the dark gray at the top. Most of the scaffolding is down on the inside of the RCC walls, indicating that the gunite treatment is finished on the interior of the RCC walls. Remember too, this RCC section needs a hardening layer of RCC placed once this RCC section is connected to the upper portion of the spillway. And here's the plunge pool everybody's talking about, and this is where we're looking at an elevation of about 625 feet. As we zoom in here, we can read the elevation right off the marks here on the rocks of the spillway. So if I did my math right, this indicates a change of about 30 feet since our last update and about 55 feet to go to the top of the RCC and connect it to the upper portion of the spillway. A couple of structural walls still to place here in the upper portion of the spillway and some of the structural slabs. Just 2.5 weeks to go to the arbitrary November 1st deadline. Now here's the area of unauthorized blasting, which I'm still convinced set the schedule back a little bit. Still quite a few walls to place and quite a few slabs to place. And of course the upper portion of the spillway left in basically original condition with the anchor bolts drilled in place. This will get replaced next year. Yes, Pete? What have you built there?
A boat. And look, I have steering wheel now.
You do. Regarding our local situation here, as you can tell right here behind me, it's a virtual tinderbox. We're surrounded by tall trees, and they're dry as a bone. That's why I don't keep expensive stuff around here. I can replace everything in this house with one $40 trip to the local thrift store, including my beloved Barco lounger. So, just be ready to bug out at a moment's notice, and I might even consider heading out this weekend because we are expecting again another round of winds out of the north, dry winds out of the north this weekend, as another dry front has passed off to our north here just yesterday. So we'll see how that goes.